I want to talk about when I was growing up in the 90s. It was the age of the mega stars, and people like Michael Jackson and Madonna. They had almost like a mythical like status. I suppose you could go back to Elvis Presley, but he was a bit before my time. And I remember thinking around 10-15 years ago, you know, when Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift were doing their thing. They were big, but they were nothing like Michael Jackson and Madonna. And I wondered why that was. And I put it down to the fact that it was almost a veil of secrecy. There was no social media. The only time you'd see pictures of them was if the paparazzi could snap them. They would rarely give interviews. So the kind of peeking behind the stage curtain, Wizard of Oz style, just wasn't a thing. So the only thing you had really to judge them on was their art, what they was producing. I mean, let's even take, say, Albert Einstein, generally revered by most people. He could have been a terrible husband back at home, but you just would never have known. The only time we heard from him was when he was solving some of the greatest scientific problems known to mankind. So he takes his rightful place in history as a hero. And that moves me on to Elon Musk. Clearly, what he's doing for humanity is worth veneration. It's worth holding him up to a high standard. But that's not to say he's not flawed in many ways. And the fact that he's basically public property, i.e. he gives lots of interviews. I mean, for Christ's sake, he owns his own social media platform. So you get his unfiltered thoughts. And as humans, we are fallible. But does that disregard all of the great things he's doing for humanity? In my opinion, no. But if you want a reason to hate him, if you want to disregard all the good stuff, you'll find plenty of reasons. To me, it's the opposite. It makes him human. And that should give us all confidence. If he can do it, why can't you? The difference between perception and reality. I just knew I wanted to talk about my favourite subject. Yes, SpaceX, Starship, all of those things, NASA, rocket launches. But my true passion is humanity taking our first steps toward Mars. I think it's an incredible gift that our generation's been given. And I want everybody to celebrate, rejoice in the fact that it's our generation that puts the first spade in. And you just naturally think, jump on the internet, YouTube, make some videos, talk about it. You'll find other like-minded people. There's got to be so many of them out there, and there are. But that's the perception. The reality is, YouTube is a game. What I know now that I didn't know a month ago is that you could have the greatest message in the world. You're wearing a Liverpool shirt. I'm not going to film you.
From West London, all that big up, brother.
How you doing, pal?
Come on.
I'm a gooner myself, mate.
Oh, fucking hell,
I don't mind Liverpool.
Oh, God. Have a good day, brother, yeah?
Too.
Big up.
Enjoy the weather.
Come on.
It's like a Rubik's Cube that you need to solve before you even switch on a camera. Unless you're an established channel where people are actively looking for your videos and they click on you no matter what, it's just a whole gate that you need to pass through before you can even think about anything else. And that's been tough. And then even if you decide to pay someone, trends could change. You could stick on a brand concept and think, right, I'll use the same template every time. And then a month later decide it was the wrong option. So now you've not only cocked up one thumbnail, you've cocked up potentially 5, 6, 7. So that's number one. The second thing is the title, almost as important as the thumbnail. Now you'd probably want to call your video whatever you wanted to call it. You'd like to explicitly explain what the video is about. But here's the problem. If you want to get genuine traction, you have to be titling towards trends that people are searching for. You can go obscure, and obviously the people that are following you will find you, and the title won't make much difference. But if the goal is to grow, you need to satisfy a demand for what people are searching for. And I think that's the biggest mindset shift. You're in the service industry. You're not in the, okay, I'll make something that I like, and then other people should like it too. You're in the, okay, there's people out there that want the answer to this, or are searching for this, and need to know more about this, and you need to create content to cater for them. You're in the service industry, which is great, it's fair, but you don't quite realize how important that is until you start uploading videos, and then you have to have a kind of a mental switch. So okay, you get the great thumbnail. Okay, you get the great title. You're now making videos towards that thumbnail and title. You can't just go out and randomly record whatever you want to record. You have to tailor it to what people are looking for. So, what comes next? Then, it's the most important thing. The thing that I've ignored in almost every single video. Not because I was willfully ignoring, but because I turned the camera on and I'm so eager to get started that it just slips my mind. but it's called. And fishermen will know all about this one. The hook. So here's the science. Yeah, mate, you're right.
How you doing?
You've basically got 30 seconds, probably less nowadays, but you've got between 15 and 30 seconds when a video starts to convince that person that it's worth continuing to watch. If you just go off talking about whatever it is you want, if you don't think of something scientifically to hook that person, to pique their interest or to give them a reason to carry on watching, they will not carry on watching. So if you've made a 10-15 minute video, it will all be disregarded. It will all be rendered pointless within 15 seconds if you don't start the video correctly with a correct hook. Now, what is a hook? To be honest with you, I'm still figuring that out, but I'll give you an example. Here's 5 reasons you should visit beautiful sunny South Essex. You won't believe what number 5 is. Okay, now that's not just a hook, that's a bait hook. You're basically, in my opinion, begging for them to watch the whole video, because if number 5 is your last one and you're saying you won't believe what it is, it creates what's called a curiosity gap. They'll continue to watch the whole video to find out what number 5 is. So that's an example, but there are many. And these things happen near enough every video. Every big creator that you watch has the hook structure baked into their videos. You don't even realize they're doing it. In fact, that's the idea of a good hook. You don't even realize that you're being hooked, so to speak, just like the fish doesn't realize. So those are the 3 main, I call them gates, that you need to unlock and pass through before anything else in your video is even being considered. And that sets up a problem, because really what the best strategists say is that you need to plan out these 3 things before you even switch on a camera. So you can't just go out and talk about what you want to talk about. I mean, that's why I've stuck with the spacewalk. For this, I genuinely don't care about all that stuff. The main reason I'm doing it is because I need more exercise and it's encouraging me. I've walked more in the last 7 weeks than I have in the whole of my life, consistently that is. So even if I go out and what I genuinely glean out of this is 40 minutes worth of exercise, it's worth it. So the fact that I can bring my camera with me on beautiful days like this and record and get my exercise in, that's value enough. But for the people that are patient, for the people that just want to sit back, relax and listen to something and not be too worried about all the science and mechanics of hooking and baiting and switching, that's who it's for. I'm not really using it as a growth tool. But yeah, it's the perception versus reality. It's the perception of, oh, I'll start making YouTube videos about this subject that I'm passionate about. And then the reality of no. You've got to do this whole song and dance just to buy the permission to even then begin talking about the thing you want to talk about. And even if you get all those things right, you might lose them immediately after the hook. They might decide that your pacing's too slow. They may decide that your editing looks too amateurish. It's a game within a game, and that's the perception versus the reality. And don't get me wrong, I'm loving it. It's just like a problem for me to solve. And I have to keep checking myself and say to myself, look, you're only 7 weeks in, but there's so much I want to say about the things that actually do matter, but it just feels like I'm playing this whole game of thumbnails, descriptions, hooks, editing tricks, transitions. It's almost everything but doing the thing that I really love to do, which is talking about my passion. I want to thank everyone, especially those returning to the channel. I've got a brilliant content idea that I'm working on, but I'm really going to put some time and effort into it. I feel like what I've been doing thus far is get an idea, get out, record, get it uploaded, just to get the reps in, just to try and basically fail forward with every video that I make. But what I really want to focus on now is quality. So as well as the spacewalk, I think the last one was about 10 days ago. This one would have been sooner if I'd have realised that the camera switched off halfway through my last walk. Max Q will continue every week, although it's going to become more of what you saw in my last video. I purposely uploaded that with 0 cuts, straight down the camera, unfiltered thoughts. I'll be leaning more towards that in the future. Just my takes, being a commentator as opposed to a news reporter, because ultimately there's big channels out there that do the news reporting much better than I do, but what they can't be is me. So there'll be 3. There'll be the Max Q Weekly, there'll be the Spacewalk as and when I feel I've got something to talk about, and then there'll be one big project that I work on with the aim of really deep diving and trying to improve the quality, the editing, everything else, implementing everything I've learned to hopefully create something special. And then obviously we've got the launches. I'm probably going to live stream all the test flights from now on. I don't expect anybody to turn up to those, especially in the early stages, but it will prepare me for what it would be like. Hopefully sometime in the future we can get a few people in there and build a bit of a community, a UK based community. So yeah, plenty more still to come. Thank you all, for those of you that tune in, for those that leave comments and give me support. It really does mean the world. And I know I used to hear YouTubers say that. I think, yeah, they don't mean that. But I get so few views and comments that, trust me, every like, every comment, it does mean the world. Because it makes me think, all right, even if 1 in 1,000 receive the content the same way that this person does, then I know who I'm making it for. Then I'll continue making it. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more content. We're following this space race all the way to its conclusion, or my conclusion at least. And the only other thing to say is take care, Godspeed, and be lucky.